My name is Jonan Kandwanaho. I'm the team leader at Jonake Holdings Limited. Super glad to have you. You can always check us out www.jonakeholdings.com. So I'm here again with yet an interesting topic because we have to, you have to discuss money lending exhaustively, all directions, all angles, 360 degrees, so that you can learn. You can learn and learn very well. So today's topic is compliance and money lending regulations and law. We'd like to understand what is it, what is the law, what are the laws that guide the money lending business, what are the laws that we operate under, and you as a money lender, what are you meant to do? Because the Bible says that we suffer because of lack of knowledge. You just away from your breakthrough probably by some piece of information that you do not know about, and that's why I get to share with you. So you realize that we have what we call the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act that was enacted in 2016. But also realize that this act cannot be implemented until it has the regulations. So as you read the act, it is important that you get to read the regulations. And these regulations are as recent as 2020. So as you read the act, read the regulations because you're guided under those instruments. But also too, it is important to understand that we have what we call Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. Now, based on the country you're in, because I know you could be watching in a different country, you should be knowing the instruments that guide your business in the industry that you're playing in. Because until you know these laws, then you cannot comply with the law. And you know what happens when you don't comply with the law? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You'll be closed. Here, you're actually closed because you're not complying with the law. So in Uganda, we have what we call Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. It is UMRA. But also, we have the Money Lenders Association of Uganda. All these I'm highlighting are key associations and key government institutions that regulate our industry, that you have to get acquainted with them, So if you've been playing in the money lending industry, the starting point should be you having the license. Because if you don't have the license, then that means you're operating that business illegally, which was my previous experience in some of the videos you actually look up to on my YouTube channel. I was operating informally. So meaning that if you're operating informally, the risk and the business is at risk. And it's going to close in a matter of, it might not even take years. It will close in a short time. Why? Because you not even comply to the law. The first starting point for compliance is you having the license. How do you get the license? You have to have a formalized business. If you have not formalized your business, then you cannot get a license because you have to be registered with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau to recognize you that you're a company. So if you've been running a business or a company informally, then it does not exist. Because by the time you even check the name, it might not be there because you need to reserve the name before you register. So go out, if you have a name already you're operating with, go and check out that name, reserve that name with URSB, and register a company. Then after registering the company, that's when you get your certificate of registration and certificate of incorporation. After getting that certificate, then you go and get what we call tax identification number because the taxman will knock on your door, especially if you're growing. Because if you're growing, if you're still small and you want to keep small, you might not get bothered. But if you plan to grow, or if it's inevitable that you actually have to grow, the taxman will knock at your door. So you need what we call the tax identification number. So to get a tax identification number, you need a certificate of incorporation and registration. So you have to have a company formally recognized in the laws of Uganda. So after having that company and getting the TIN number, then you go to UMRA as a regulator and tell them, look, I need a license. So some of the guys are amused because I get a lot of comments on my YouTube channel. And number of people that are playing in the lending industry, both in Uganda and outside Uganda, ask a lot of questions. But one question that amused me, that some of the guy was told that to get a license, you need to pay 5 million. I'm like, you're kidding me. the license cannot be that expensive. You actually need 550,000 to get a license. And the processes are streamlined. The payment is online. So you're actually suffering, running away here and there because you lack the knowledge, because you lack the information. Now you have the information. Most of the guys that I actually get to coach and mentor in some of my masterminds that I run, I tell them one of the assignments I give, because me, I don't cut corners. I tell them, if you're ready to grow, then join the mastermind. If you're not ready to grow, don't waste my time, because I also don't want to waste your time and your money. One of the assignments I give is that if you've been operating informally, you actually have to formalize your business. Because I cannot associate with someone who is not compliant to the law. Because it won't take long before you're closed. You cannot operate a money lending business without a license. Those are some of the assignments that until you do that assignment, you cannot come next in my class. You cannot come next in my coaching, in my mastermind. You cannot. Why? Because you will be wasting your time. And you see, that's why some of this information, you've heard it, you've read about it. But what have you done about it? That's a game changer. That's what differentiates you from Jonaki Holdings Limited. Because until you learn something and implement it, then you will not benefit from it. And it's not only a waste of time on your end, because that business will ultimately close, but it's also a waste of time to your staff, it's a waste of time to the business, it's a waste of time and money. Because ultimately time is money, but also remember the business is running, it consumes money. But if it's informal, you may find there's someone else who's running the similar name, the business that is formally registered, that the time you're going to register, when you've already marketed, you have social media, you have a website, but the company is already existing somewhere. So you actually have to change the name and start from ground zero. So I encourage you that the starting point after having your business, after registering your business and all that, is to have a license to comply with the law. And to comply with the law, you comply in the aspect of the license, you comply in the aspect of your taxman, URA in Uganda Revenue Authority. But also realize that it will give you an edge. It will give you an edge, unless you're in this business for a short time. But if you're in business for a long while, it is you that I'm speaking to. It is you that I'm speaking to. Because you're going to get exposed to clients that can genuinely not pay. Or even that have applied for a loan, they have the collaterals, but their intention is to default. Someone says, I'm going to apply for 100 million from Jonaki Holdings Limited. I am going to default intentionally. And the collateral is land. Do you know how long it takes to foreclose on land? Long time. But before you know it, the process of foreclosing the land, the back and forth, the guy is already using the money. So I want you to know that we have such kind of clients in the market. Even when you have assessed, their financials are good, their credit rating is good, but this guy has borrowed from you a chunk of money. He's going to use it to run a business or close a deal. He's going to waste your time, and then ultimately he's going to pay you the exact amount of money that you actually gave them. But you see, if you're not shielded, you might even lose that money. That's why I encourage my colleagues and the guys that I work with this journey, that make sure if anything has to go wrong, it's on the side of the client, not you as a business. Because in the courts of the law, the first thing they'll ask, are you operating with a license? Are you licensed to operate? Secondly, do you have tax obligations that you're meeting? Are you meeting your tax obligations? Because if you're a company, then you should be profitable. But even if you're not profitable, you should be able to file zero returns. You should be able to file zero returns. So some of the people are not even aligning with the URA to pay their taxes because they think that all the time, probably the business has to be profitable. But sometimes it's not. You actually have to tell them that, look, these are my expenses. This is how much I made. So based on these assessments, I didn't make any money. So it means that I cannot pay you any money. And this is allowed. So don't run away from some of these things, because if you're in the right place, if you understand this information, then it will help you to grow. Because if you intend to grow, you have to be compliant. If you intend to progress in your business, you have to be compliant. And given the industry you're playing in, especially money lending, it requires you to actually shape up. Because if you don't shape up, the clients are going to shape you up. They're going to get you in place. And by the time they get you in place, boss, you might be closing shop, and you don't know when that shop is going to close. You don't know when that office is going to close. If you do not comply, if you do not observe the laws that govern us in that industry, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you're going to close. So how about you do yourself a favor? Because you see, I usually tell my mentees that it's not about you. It's not about you. You're just stewarding that business. It will actually be my next talk. You're stewarding that business because you have employees that feed on that business, that have families, that have dependents. You have yourself and your family, and probably children. So it's not about you. You're just entrusted with that business by the Lord at that particular time. So how about you run it very well? How about you comply with the law? Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. With that, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Check us out, like, comment, give us a topic that you want us to talk about, but also don't forget to check us out at www.jonakeholdings.com. Thank you. Have a blessed time. See you in my next YouTube video. Thank you.